Are you one of those guys who just wants more? You want more. You want more good loving. You want more in between the sheets. You want more from your wife. You want more, lots more. Every day, any time of day, if she'll just give it to you, you would love to have it. I work with couples every day for whom this is a real matter. And for many wives, they struggle. Like, I cannot keep up with this appetite. This appetite is voracious. It is wearing me out. It's a lot. And it's probably not too much if they're getting something else very important that they need in that part of your marriage relationship. And I'm talking to married people right now because I think this is a different conversation if you are married. So work with me. If you're not married, stick with me. Stay here because this is going to be helpful to you as well. But I want to talk to married couples who are struggling with this challenge, a husband who always wants more. What in the world is going on? And you've probably been asking yourself, like, what is going on? You keep dodging and feeling like you can never deliver enough, ladies. You're feeling like this is a whole lot. And he could be feeling like, why doesn't she want me? Why do I feel so rejected? This is what men say to me. I feel like she doesn't want me, like she's denying me, my person, like I got married so that I wouldn't have to be out there looking for it. And now I'm in this marriage and she's not even trying to be with me when it comes to the intimacy part of our relationship. Let's talk about what's really going on in this video. I want to break this down into 3 things that you really want to take note of, because you can have an amazing life of intimacy and connection, sex together. You can have an amazing one, but not if this appetite is driving a wedge between you and your spouse. So let's talk about it, because ain't nobody talking to y'all about stuff like this. You go into all these magazines, you're watching these videos, you're trying to figure it out, and you're looking at silly stuff, and you're not getting down to the real root of the issue. We're going to get to the root of the issue in this video. If I can't help you with anything else, I can help you with this, because I work with this every day with clients who tell me themselves, like, hey, Rod, I just want more, and that's just how I am. I was always like this, and I assumed that when we got married, because when we weren't married, it wasn't a problem. She was cool when we were dating and when I was pursuing her, but now we're married, like she's pulling away. She's got excuses. She always got a headache. She's tired. It's the kids. It's always something. She's got to go to work. What's up? Where does this come from? So let me help you with a couple things. All right, we're going to talk about 3 things. The first thing is, it is not hormonal. Like, this high, voracious, unending drive for pleasure in the sixes is not hormonal. Because I hear a lot of people say things like, yeah, I just got high testosterone. You know what I mean? Like, they measured my testosterone levels and it's just really high. I just got to have it. It's just a hormonal thing. So I understand that rationale. And, I've worked with high testosterone people. I've worked with college athletes, professional athletes, people who, typically, measurably have high levels of testosterone, because where there are lots of muscles and, there's just high levels of testosterone, where there's, nutrition and where there's weightlifting, all of that stuff that contributes to growth in the testosterone levels. But we all have thresholds. And by the way, women have level of testosterone and estrogen. Men have levels of testosterone, more testosterone than estrogen, obviously. But we both need these hormones for very, very important reasons. Testosterone, for example, in men, it is a crucial sex hormone. It is what drives or gives us our libido, our drives for intimacy. Yes, let's accept that. But testosterone in men, we only need a certain level in order to be healthy in our sexuality. We don't need loads of it. We just need a certain threshold. And when that threshold is met, you're probably going to have a normal desire level. That's the way it goes. And you can have a healthy level just by virtue of diet, exercise, sleep. All of those things contribute to healthy levels. As a man gets older, that level becomes tested, and you can usually see it where he struggles to keep on muscle mass. You can see it where, he's not sleeping as well, right? it shows up in some areas, but it's a natural part of the aging process. But you don't need like these super high pump you up levels, because when you start getting to levels like that, what happens is like people who use certain, y'all know what I'm talking about. When people take supplements trying to boost their levels, right? It can lead to aggression. It can lead to excessive body hair, to acne, to mood swings, heart and liver problems, and even reduced sperm count and infertility. So it's not super high levels. It's not a hormonal thing is what I'm trying to get you to see. Stop the myth. Like, let's just cut it out. Let's stop being silly. It's not a hormonal thing that's really driving you, my brother. That's not what it is. We'll get to what it is, but it's not hormonal. Let's just get that straight, right? It's helpful when you have healthy levels of testosterone. It's helpful when a woman has healthy levels of estrogen. And we already know this, that as women age, their estrogen levels decline and they can have a vaginal dryness. They can have loss of bone density, as do men. All those things come with the aging process, but at a healthy level of estrogen, a woman can keep up her libido. But bro, I'm just saying this to you. And ladies, you can share this with your guy if he's not with you. Like, it's not hormonal. It's not like you gotta have it because your hormones keep telling you. Nah, it's not that. I respect where you are, but it's not that. All right? It's not genetic. It's not a genetic trait. Like a high drive is not a genetic trait. Like, you didn't get that from your dad, who got it from his dad, right? You didn't get it from my uncles. Like, I thought I got it from my uncles because they were off the charts when I was growing up. Always with somebody, always talking about it. I was like, maybe that's just me. And it's not genetic. It's not something that you get genetically, like a high drive for sex. That's not the way it works. I used to think I was taught that way. You know what I mean? And so I just, had a part of my journey where it was out of control. Let's just put it that way. Thankfully, God turned it around in my life so that drive was put into perspective and into the appropriate boundaries, right? So that the garden could flourish. I'm too much for y'all today. I know it. Did you come ready for this video? Are you ready for this? Like, let's talk real, because if you don't get healthy in this area, especially if you're married, it is going to do great damage to your relationship, to your marriage. You're going to be in divorce court shelling out some major dollars, but you can get this right. And this is a step to it. I was talking to one of my dear clients the other day, and he was struggling with this, he and his wife. And we began working, trying to understand their story, their background, where it all came from. And I started pointing him to this, and here it is. So I said, it's not hormonal, it's not genetic, it's a substitute. It's a way that people learn to substitute. Let me just pause this, by the way, and say, this can be equally true for women as it is for men. But it's a substitute when the drive is in overdrive all the time, when it can never be satisfied, it's never satiated, right? And then some people find themselves, like in my line of work with couples, right? If they can't get it at home, they're going to get it somewhere else. If they can't get it somewhere else, they're going to turn to pornography. And it's this constant stretching outside of the marriage, and that brings problems into the marriage. But it is a substitute for something you really desire and want and need. What am I saying to you? That if you have a sex drive that's on overdrive, you are trying to fill another bucket. It ain't got nothing to do with sex. But sex becomes the substitute for trying to fill the other bucket in your life. Am I making sense? Hit me up in the comments and let me know if this is making sense to you. Do people talk to y'all about stuff like this? Are you getting any common sense coaching in your life for your relationship? Is anybody telling you that this voracious, overwhelming drive is about trying to satisfy something else in your life? Can we talk about that? So here's what happens. Oftentimes, people are introduced to the pleasure of sex at a young age, 11, 12, sometimes younger, unfortunately. And it turns on the pleasure centers in our brain where some very powerful neurochemicals are released or secreted. Oxytocin, dopamine, vasopressin. Dopamine is that's the pleasure drug. Listen, it is more powerful than cocaine or heroin, just so you know. But when that thing is turned on in your brain, okay, for example, example, I was talking to one of my friends recently. I said, hey, how old were you when you first started watching porn? How old were you when you first started having sex? He said, I didn't start having sex until I was in college. He said, but I started watching porn when I was like 11 or 12. He said, a family member introduced me to it. I said, okay, no judgment, no shade. All right. I said, so when you started watching it more regularly, how often did you watch it? He said, every chance I could when I was alone. I said, oh, when you were alone. I said, do you remember what you felt when you were alone? He said, well, I felt lonely. Hello. He said, I felt lonely. I said, and so what did you do? He said, and so I did, the self-pleasure thing. I said, okay, now we're getting somewhere. And so I've heard people say, as I mentioned earlier, that they get frustrated because their spouse won't just instantly turn on. Is this too much for y'all? Can y'all handle this? Like real talk, sanity talk about this area of life? Like, let's not play with it. Let's get down to it, because you can be so much better. You can have something so much richer. Like, you don't want just like, let's jump to it. Bam, bam, boom. Okay, nothing wrong with a quickie. I'm not against quickies. All right. He learned at a young age, and he began wiring his brain for pleasure at a young age. And his brain started saying to him, when you're lonely, this is what you need. This is what you need to do. So some people, when they're sad, this is what they do. When they're angry, this is what they do. When they're really excited, this is what they go to. This is what they turn to. And so rather than address the loneliness or the anger or the sadness or the lack of feeling affirmed or whatever the emotional experience is that is not pleasant but painful, then more of the pleasure of sex becomes the substitute. And so most people never make that connection. Okay, did you know that after preaching, the statistic I read recently is that 40% of pastors who use pornography do so within an hour after they preach their last sermon? Now, that's a lot. Is it 40% of them who do use it, do it an hour after they preach? Because for a pastor, and I know because I've been a pastor for a long time, I know that when you come out of that pulpit, you can feel empty, depleted. You can be uncertain, feel insecure. Did I do a good job? What do people think? Because you're so exposed. You guys are not ready for this today. I hope you are. Is this helpful? Right? And so what they do is they go and watch pornography and have self-pleasure because they feel something about themselves and they've never made the connection between the two. And this is what's happening to a lot of men who have high drives, is it becomes a substitute for them. So they've learned to self-soothe with sexual behavior. And what happens is they're unable to build intimate connection. The spouse starts feeling empty, like this, okay, but all right, when do I get to be happy? When do I get to feel connected to? When do I get to feel like you're not just here on me, but you're here with me? That's what begins to happen. And that's why some wives are like, no, I'm good. No, I'm okay. You're like, well, what happened? When we were dating, we were great. Yeah, but it's been empty. It's just been getting emptier and more emptier and emptier along the way. And so until we address the root challenge and the root need, couples start drifting apart in this very important area of their lives. And that's not God's will for you. In fact, the Bible says something very powerful about Adam and Eve. The Bible says Adam knew his wife and they made love. How about that? Adam knew his wife and they made love, right? It was a knowing. And this is what you want. You want to learn how to slow down long enough to know yourself and to know one another. You can know each other and stop going for the counterfeit version of pleasure. Oh, there's a lot of counterfeit versions out there, but it's so much more amazing when you slow down to know the person, to care about them, to be with them. Like, it cannot just be about positions. It cannot just be about, hey, can you hit me up real fast? Can you top me off real quick? I'm not down on a quickie once in a while. I'm just saying you cannot build intimacy that feeds and nurtures your marriage relationship that way. Now, if you're willing, you can learn a new way and a new approach that a lot of people are not going to tell you. Like, a lot of your friends are not going to tell you. A lot of the material out there, Hollywood is not going to tell you. Let's not even talk about Hollywood divorce rates. I'm just saying you can learn a new way to be and to be with your spouse, to be connected to one another on a much deeper level in your communication and in your connection. And it's going to blow your mind. So it's not hormonal, it's not genetic. There's a way that we substitute for the thing we really need deep down inside. And most often, most frequently, is something sexual. I've been at this for a long time. I've been married for 35 years. I'm so grateful we got a great life together. That's why I know it's possible, because my story was jacked at the beginning. I learned all of the wrong things the wrong way, and thankfully, I got on the right track. I can't take credit for it. It shaped something, reshaped me from the inside so that I got a good drive. But it's in the right lane. All right, I hope this was helpful to you. We talked about some intimate things, but I hope that this is helpful to you. If you're struggling, put it in the comments. Like, let me know. If this is helpful, put it in the comments. If you don't agree, put it in the comments. If I offended you, put it in the comments. If you want more of this, put it in the comments. Make sure you like and subscribe. See you in the next video.